It's Hyp3r Halloween! Rounding out my supernatural section is 2012's Sinister. This was actually a movie I bumped off of last year's Hyp3r Halloween. I had bumped it in order to talk about I Saw the Devil, if you were curious. In any case, if you're looking for more supernatural horror films for this Halloween, I suggest checking out Sinister. It was written and directed by Scott Derrickson, as well as co-written by C. Robert Cargill. Sinister is a horror film that gives us a pretty memorable villain to keep us up at night. The movie opens with a found footage style video that features a very disturbing murder. After the video, we're introduced to the Oswalt family. This family moves into the house that was featured in the intro found footage video. The patriarch of the family, Ellison Oswalt, played by the phenomenal Ethan Hawke, is a true crime author that had one hit book out of dozens of flops. He moves his family into the murder house because he wants to write about the murdered family in order to write another book. And of course, if it helps with the murder investigation, then that is a plus for him too. He believes that he will be able to find clues in the house that the police didn't notice. He completely uprooted his family in order to do this, and even lied about the fact that the murders took place at the house. It also happens that Ellison is very bad at what he does. While his most popular book helped police solve that particular crime, his other books actually hurt the case and got the criminals released. Ellison believes that this time will be different though, as one member of the murdered family is missing, a young girl named Stephanie. So, as I mentioned before, Ellison thinks that he's going to be able to find some evidence within the house. And one would think that the police would have found and removed all the evidence from the house prior to a new family moving in, but sure enough, Ellison does find something. That something is actually a box of film reels and an 8mm projector that was just sitting in the attic. He sets up the projector in his office and finds that all the films are like home movies, except for the fact that the family is being filmed by someone not close to them, and the movies end up with the family dying. Well, that's not necessarily true. It turns out that each of the films was an actual murder, and there is a missing child, and that there is a missing child just like the murder investigation that Ellison is currently investigating. The more films Ellison watches, the more he releases a demon named Bagul. He starts seeing a strange symbol in all of the videos, and then eventually notices a demonic-like figure in each of the films. It's around this time that Ellison's children discovered that this is the house that a murder took place in. Not because they discover the films or his work, but because ghosts are now haunting the house. Ellison and his wife are not able to see these ghosts, but his kids are able to. We see these ghosts influence their kids throughout the film. Actually, let me correct myself real quick. Ellison cannot see the ghosts with his naked eye, but he can when he records them on his camera. Ellison tries to get some help from a professor that specializes in the occult. The professor explains that the symbol Ellison saw in the videos belongs to an obscure pagan deity named Bagul, the eater of children. Bagul tricks children into his world in order to drain them of their soul. He needs to do this in order to survive. Bagul is called into our world just by viewing him, so Ellison packs away the projector, thinking that that was what was affecting his children. Later that night, though, the projector is set back up and one of the coolest scenes in the movie happens, in my opinion. The ghost children run around Ellison. Of course, he can't see them. It's just choreographed and shot very well, where the ghosts appear behind Ellison as he moves and then disappear really quick when he turns around. I definitely can't explain it well, but it looks cool and adds tension to an already tense situation. Ellison ends up burning the tapes and projector and moves his family out of the house in order to rekindle his relationship with them. I won't go into more detail about the ending though, because I honestly think it does have a pretty cool ending. All I'll say is definitely check it out. Let's get back into Bagul for a minute. Like I already mentioned, he's a pagan deity that feeds on the souls of children in order to survive. He appears to be summoned simply by viewing an image or video of him. I also believe that the same happens when his symbol is found. It's weird that Bagul would mess with Ellison though, since he is writing a book, and that might reach more people, but yeah, that's another story. One last thing I'll say is, I honestly think Bagul looks awesome. I wish he was on screen more, but sometimes less is more. Sinister is a fantastic film, and I do highly recommend it. The one thing that I don't like about the movie is that it does have its fair share of jump scares. But it's not only a film about a cool supernatural deity, but also a character-driven film that showcases a man who will do anything for fame and fortune, even at the expense of his family. I already mentioned that Ellison moved his family into the murder house without telling them about it. He also starts drinking more and more as the movie progresses because he's so stressed out about writing his book, even though, to be fair, the films he finds are enough to drive someone to drink. We also see a clip of him watching an old interview he gave on a talk show. It's shown that he seems to be only interested in fame and not actually helping police solve crimes. He also very bluntly tells his wife that his writing and books give his life meaning. She of course corrects him by saying that should honestly be his kids, and that's when we start to see this realization that maybe he should start thinking about his family instead of his books. Unfortunately for him, his obsession with fame and fortune do mess things up throughout the film, but again, I'm not going to spoil it for you. Sinister did well enough to get one sequel, and even though I did watch it, I honestly don't remember it at all. I do believe that it follows a similar plot, though. In any case, all in all, Sinister is a great film to watch this Halloween season. It has a scary atmosphere, a scary story, and it's shrouded in mystery. It's almost like a crime novel mixed with a horror film, and I really like that. So, check it out if you're interested.